everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to do some quick updates and I'm going to be talking about tips to help you read more. So I really just want to start with some quick little updates on me. My current read is The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. She wrote The Push, which was such a good book, quick chapters, and I got sent this one and I'm super excited to read it and then help them promote it. Another big thing that happened for me was I had an interview for Elle Magazine Canada to talk about reading slumps. I'm gonna link the article because I bought the physical copy because I wanted to have it, but there's also an online link to it. So I just want to share a little bit about that because I was super excited about this. Let me find the page this was on. So this is the page I'm featured on. It's super cute. That book I'm reading is actually on this page right here, The Whispers. So it's titled For the Love of Books. This is what it looks like. Super cute. It's called For the Love of Books by Patricia Carunos. She's the one who interviewed me over Zoom, and it says how to get over a reading slump and rekindle your passion for reading. So she just kind of gets into that, and I'm just gonna read the parts that I spoke on because I don't know, this is just so cool to me. It says, years later, I'm back to reading more frequently again, though not at the same rate because, you know, responsibilities. But every once in a while, I'll hit that same wall. I also now know that these reading slumps, as they're commonly referred to online, are pretty normal. Just ask any reviewer, writer, or book lover who's had to deal with them. I can get to a point where reading feels like a chore, says Paige Smith, a Calgary-based content creator who makes videos about reading for TikTok's increasingly popular #booktok community under the username paigesofbookss. As a full-time reader, Smith often finds it challenging to go home at the end of a long day and read as well as share her well-composed thoughts online, especially since she aims to get through 50 to 60 books a year. She's no stranger to reading slumps and ultimately has to push through them. It's a hard balance, but I have to find the time. I have to remember that this is something I love and that for me, self-care is sitting down and reading. Smith is onto something when she talks about balance, and then it kind of goes into like an author's point of view as well. So if you're stuck in a slump, how do you get out? The most important thing to do, says Fortune, is to identify why you like reading. She loves romance novels and YA fiction. That was Carly Fortune, the author of Every Summer After. His wonder is to identify why you like reading. She loves romance novels and YA fiction because they're an escape for her. Smith, on the other hand, gravitates towards thrillers for their entertainment value. So that's kind of just a little snippet, but if you want to read the article, I will have it linked. So now let's talk about how to read more. I have some notes that I wrote just to share because I found for me, I kind of had to shift because during busy times of my life, like for example, right now it's report card season, so it's sometimes hard for me to balance the busy time of year and reading more. Or just last week, I was at an all-time high exhaustion level, physically, mentally. And I mean, I wasn't reading as much, but like when I can, I try to do these things to read more because I've said this before, but reading to me, like if I'm not reading, it's not like, oh, you suck, like you're not reading as much as everyone else right now. It's like, I don't feel like I'm taking care of myself. When I'm reading, I feel more relaxed. And I feel like there's that element of self-care that I'm able to still mix into my life. So, tips to read more. I have bring the book with you. So whether you read on your phone, maybe you listen to audiobooks, that works too. Whether you read on your phone, maybe you read physical books or even on your Kindle, bring it with you. I know it's not always the easiest to bring your book, but for example, like I'm like waiting in line at the grocery store, I'm waiting in line I'm waiting at the doctor's office or the dental clinic or whatever. I'm reading on my phone while I wait. Maybe sometimes during breaks at work, during lunch, sometimes I'll read a few pages. Especially though, I have been reading a lot at the gym. So whether I'm walking on the treadmill or when I'm weightlifting, like between sets, I'll read like 1 page. That is my break between sets, 2 pages sometimes. And I crush books reading that way. So I just find in those moments where you're just waiting, instead of just being impatient or just sitting there on TikTok, which is totally fine too, but if you prefer, read. Have your book in your bag, have your Kindle with you. I download books a lot on my phone, even if I am reading a physical copy. I bring my Kindle sometimes, but I find downloading the book on my phone is just so much easier. Number 2, set a goal. So for me, I try to read a little bit every night. I'm a very tired girl once my head hits the pillow, once I crawl into my bed, so this doesn't always happen, but I try to read before bed. But also this weekend I kind of devoted my life to report cards. So I was setting the goal of 1 hour of report card work, 1 hour of reading. And I got so much done, but I also got to read, and it was a break for me. So if you are someone in school, and like it doesn't have to be an hour, it could be an hour of studying, 20-minute reading break, whatever works for you. Again, these tips are not a one fit all. You have to find what works for you, but this is what works for me, and if you can incorporate it into your life to read more, great. Number 3 is kind of, yeah, having those reading breaks when you're doing something important, like planning for work, doing some work at home, studying, doing homework. Allow yourself to have those mental breaks. I find it important for me. If I was staring at my computer screen all day, I'd go crazy. I'd get sidetracked. I probably wouldn't get as much done, but I literally tell my Alexa, set an hour timer, and then I alternate, and it's been much more of a relaxing, enjoyable weekend than I anticipated it would be. Next one is read books you enjoy. So I find myself getting into reading slumps when I'm not reading books I enjoy, and then I don't make that time to read because I'm not excited about it. So choose the books you enjoy. Okay, read the books that you love. Don't make yourself read anything you don't like or don't think you'll like. I mean, obviously try new things, but don't feel like you have to read something because it's popular or because it'll, like, for example, don't read that one self-help book because you think you need to read it. Like, just, you can, but those are the types of books where I will read them on the side, which I'll get to. Next one, DNF or take breaks. So you know I don't DNF books, but I do take breaks now. I've allowed myself to set that book to the side and take a break from it, and I will come back to it slowly or on the side. But if I'm not reading as much reading that book, I need a break, and that's okay. Or DNF it, that's okay too. I don't do that, and that's just personal preference. And then finally, you can read more than one book at a time. That kind of brings me to my final point. So for me, I'm reading an educational book. Like I said, like I'm reading Kids These Days along with the books I enjoy. Even though that book is like super educational for me as a teacher, and it is a book that I know will help my career because I'm getting some insight that I don't think of, and I know it's important for me to read. Like, it's important to me that I read it. So I am reading it on the side because I know if I just read an educational type of book all at once, I'd get so bored. So I am mixing it in with what I like, what I enjoy, like the fiction books, the books I just read for pure enjoyment. So those are my tips to read more, and it has been working for me personally as someone who is usually in a reading slump May, June, this time of year when things are super busy for me. So if anyone has any other tips, feel free to let me know, and anything helps. Anything is good to take as advice, and I'm open to anything, any sort of recommendations. But happy reading for the rest of June. We're almost halfway through the month, I think. I don't even know the date at this point. June 11th. We are almost halfway through till July starts, and then it is summer. So enjoy the rest of the month reading, and follow my booktok or my bookstagram at paigesofbookss, and I will talk to you guys soon with a reading wrap up for the month. Bye guys!